Why are you here today?
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the
far-right agitators. We will not allow people to come to the UK, to threaten our communities, and spread hate on our streets.
I'm here in support of our country, our British patriots, and also in solidarity with our American friends and free speech, especially following the death of Charlie Kirk. It's so important to be here today and just to be with fellow patriots and just to have a voice and show this government that we can still have our free speech. It's so important. We don't want to lose our free speech.
That's amazing. Someone said in my comment section that this whole gathering is a gathering of far-right racist scum, and they're saying, why would I want to attend something like that? So what do you think about them calling this whole group far-right racists?
Absolutely not. I think if you're from our country and you love our country, there's nothing far right about it. There's nothing wrong we shouldn't be called a Nazi just because you want to raise your country's flag. There's no other country in the world where you could be called a Nazi or far right just for raising your country's flag. A lot of people have had really good opportunities in this country. My grandfather came from South Africa. He didn't get everything for free. He worked very hard. Our ancestors worked very hard and integrated. So they did all the hard work for us. So there's a lot of fair opportunities in this country, and I think it's really unfair for people to actually turn around and call the host nation far right and racist when we know that that's not true.
A lot of Americans are saying that don't we think it's a bit too late for the UK right now with everything that's going on in the country, the government and everything, like everything seeming kind of chaotic, that don't you think it's a bit too late?
Everybody would love to have a crystal ball. I'd love to have a crystal ball to do predictions. The only message I would give to people is, don't give up hope, and that's why many of us are here today, because we don't want to give up hope.
And about Tommy Robinson, what do you think about him? A lot of people hate him. A lot of people say he's a thug. He hates all Muslims. He hates black people. He hates immigrants. He wants all immigrants to be sent back to the country. What do you have to say about that? And why do you support him?
I would say to people, get out there and go and do some research. There you go.
Can you hear that?
I would say to go and do your own research. Don't be indoctrinated. That's why we're in the positions that we're in now, because there's many people out there being indoctrinated. They're just being told certain things, and then they're doing like a knee-jerk response, just putting labels on people and calling people racist. I did my own research. I heard a lot about Tommy Robinson years ago, so I started looking into Tommy Robinson, thinking I've got to check this guy out, this person out. What's all this racism about? But the more I've actually looked at some of his speeches, and I would advise anybody, just go to the Oxford Union speech if you're really starting brand new with Tommy, and then you can learn and find out more about what Tommy's about. A similar thing happened to Charlie Kirk in America. He was just a conservative and a patriot and a Christian, and again, a lot of people put labels on him, calling him racist, but they're not actually listening to the messages. And I think the minute you try and shut people down, that's when you suppress free speech, and if you don't allow people to speak, then that's when violence happens, and if you just try and silence people with violence, it's going to create more violence. I would just say, listen, there are some real racists out there. Yes, there are some far-right people out there, but not everyday ordinary people, and I just think it's wrong for people to not do their own research and put unfair labels on people. In the same way that any one of us, I wouldn't want to see you unfairly labelled. I wouldn't want to see me unfairly labelled, and the same applies. Anti-white sentiment is real, and I think it's important that as people of colour we get out and speak about these things, because if it was happening to us, they would be the same people. Some of those people would be the same people coming out in defence of us. So I think it's important, if you're not actually seeing that same rhetoric and that narrative with your own eyes, then you should stand up and say, well, actually, no, that's not what I'm seeing. We are not a monolith, we're not all one. People are different. There's different ways to live your life as a black person, so we shouldn't even stereotype ourselves and put ourselves in boxes. Think freely. We've had an education. We can see the media and the press the same as everybody else, so don't allow yourself to be brainwashed, and just consider this. There's many countries around the world where you will lose any rights that you believe that you don't have in this country. So if you feel you're not getting any rights in this country, go and try another country and see how you get on. If it was that bad, why would so many people be coming to our country? It just doesn't make any sense. So I would just say, go out there, do your own research, and just try and just be tolerant with people. You can disagree with people, that's fine. You can have difference of opinions with people, that's fine. But don't stir up hatred and don't stir up racism. Let's just try and unite and get together and just show some tolerance as well.
A lot of people are saying that with all of this going on in the UK right now, that isn't it a bit too late for the United Kingdom?
Well, as I say, I would hope
And how
not.
can you convince those on the left that are opposing this movement?
Yeah, I would hope not. Now, I'm very concerned about some of the opinions that I am hearing on the left, because we've got certain groups such as Stand Up to Racism, and I believe a lot of them are doing more harm than good, because they're actually calling people Nazis, racist, and it's very difficult to come back from that because they're not actually debating. They're just slapping these harsh labels on people, and I actually believe that they're generating more racism and more racial sentiment, and they're actually creating more racist people. I've never really experienced a lot of racism, or should I say open or blatant racism, but I believe groups like that are actually quite dangerous because they're actually making people believe that there's a lot of racism out there, and they're making people feel like they're victims. And a lot of these voices are white liberal voices, so why are you allowing white liberal voices to tell you how much racism there is out there? It just doesn't make any sense. So again, I would say don't allow yourself to be indoctrinated. Go out there, do your own research, judge by your own experiences. We all go mix with different people, and then is that really your experience on a day-to-day basis, or is that because people are telling you that? People are making you feel like you're a victim. Oh, everybody's racist, everybody's racist. So that's what I mean when I say I believe these groups are actually doing more harm than good.
Amazing. Thank you so very much for all the answers.
You're welcome.
Very
Nice to see
well
you
spoken.
again.
I appreciate it.
Take care.
This is where the label starts breaking up for people. Because once every supporter becomes a caricature, reality gets harder to simplify. Some people hear extremism, others hear frustration. But what do you hear?